are.
No, it can't be.
amazing.
It is. It's episode 4. You are listening to Lynn and Rachel at the Content Bite.
Yes.
And what are we talking about today, Lynn?
What editors want when you file copy. And
Yes.
but also maybe
And general.
even in general. what do they want?
Probably a day off. More stuff.
yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
We won't go down that road. But as a freelancer, what do editors want from freelancers?
And not only editors, even like content, like clients
Yes.
generally as
Yes.
well. So what do you?
Well, maybe we should split it up then. If we're talking about print editors, what do print editors today want? Given that, you know, a lot of mags and outlets out there don't have huge subbing teams like they used to. Has that changed?
It has.
How freelancers should file copy and what we should provide and that sort of thing?
I find that they're asking for more than they used to, and a lot of details and stuff that they didn't want. So now I always give them a heading, a cell, and caption details. And now I even give a lot of magazines want the stockists, because you know I do interiors. They want a list of stockists which are alphabetical order, which and then I guess the other thing, I now set up Dropbox folders. I love the Dropbox folder. I stole this idea from you.
What, the Dropbox folder?
No, you have a lovely little section at the top of your, when you file copy, called for subs.
Oh,
and you
at the
have
bottom,
all the information.
Yes, yeah.
You do it at the bottom.
I think that the reason I did that is because I actually started out in journalism as a sub. I was working in London on a baby magazine and I was a sub, and I loved it when people gave all the information, you know, because it meant you had less phone calls to make, less running around. So when I started doing feature writing, I used to put the name of the file at the top, my name, all my details at the top, phone number, etc., how to contact me, and then a for subs section. And that included everything from who I'd talked to and all their details, every single study I'd quoted or, you know, something I'd referenced, anything that I thought the subs might need in checking it. And I think that has been gone over very well with editors, because they always tell me, oh, you're the one that does the for subs section.
And, you know, when I was an editor and you contributed to me, I loved that so much that when I freelanced, I stole that idea.
Nicked it.
I nicked it. But also what I do now is when I'm a big fan of Dropbox, and I know a lot of people use Google Drive as well, but I put all the verifying material like emails, caption details, press releases, whatever, into a folder on Dropbox, and then I just send a link and put the link in the information for subs. So rather than put in all the stuff, I just dump it all into a folder, and there's the link there. And I often do images as well. I have a Dropbox folder for images. I put all the images into Dropbox, and then people can upload images if they want them.
Yes, I have to do a lot of that too for editors. I'm finding that a lot of editors want the Dropbox folder now.
Yes.
And a lot of them will commission you with a Google Docs brief.
Ah, yeah.
So you have to, which is a pain actually, because if it's not linked to the right Gmail account, you can't open it. I'd much rather someone just sent me a brief on email, but I'm finding that a lot of it's in the cloud. So we all need to be in the cloud.
Good thing also with
It is
Dropbox.
good. I love Google Docs. I'm not.
I do,
bad in
and with
Google
both
Docs.
Google Docs and with Dropbox, I have the apps on my phone, and so that means if I'm out and about and an editor says I can't find that image, I actually can find it from my phone and send it to them then, rather
That
than
is true
have to
multitasking.
wait until I get back, and then you get back and you forget. But that's what I do, and I think it's quite helpful. And also it means that I have all my images. It's a bit about trying to just over-deliver. So I don't promise some of that stuff. Nobody says I want an information for subs, but if I do it, then they love it, and then...
Love it. Let's talk a bit about that then, like that whole added value thing with print editors specifically. I mean, what do you do for print editors that they love and that keeps them coming back?
I think the information for subs, like having all the backup details.
Yeah.
I
Giving
also
them full quotes. And
I often do an extra quote So if, a pull quote, or I try and get, I often do, if it's going digitally at some point, I do metadata. Sometimes I include, if it works, the source's social handles, like
Yep.
their Instagram handle or their Twitter handle,
Yeah.
because they're all trying to optimize everything socially.
Yeah.
And also that's usually, sources are really keen
And
to
so
do that.
they'll share it as well. 'Cause
Yeah, so
editors they love you so much more if the story is going to go to digital as well, and you can get it shared around the traps and around other people's networks.
Yeah.
So the more that you can facilitate those backlinks from sources in the story and everything, the
But
more
I
they'll
think
love you.
print editors, for me, what they love is that I'm really well connected and I know my subject really well, and I can find sources, like I can find experts. I think that's really hard. A lot of people, they don't have the time to find a really good interior designer to talk about bathroom finishes or something.
Yep.
So I find that for them.
You've got all those people in your experts file.
Yeah, I do. Exactly. And also the people in my experts file trust me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very handy. We just have to quickly say the experts file thing is, again, if you're starting out in journalism or any kind of freelance writing, create a file of
Yes.
your best experts, the best people you've interviewed, what stories you've used them on. We actually have something on Rachel's list, which a downloadable experts file, which is an Excel spreadsheet, enables you to search for experts. But whether you do one yourself in Word or whatever you do, it's so handy because it will save you so much time finding those experts again.
Yes.
And editors love it because it can save you so much time writing stories and future stories and even pitching because you know who to go to.
Oh, yeah. And also having, sometimes it takes a while to find people who really know their stuff, particularly if it's something fairly technical. If you're doing a medical story and you want to find a doctor who can not only know their stuff but actually translate it into like copy you can use for a consumer, that's really important. It takes a while to find those people.
Does. So they're media savvy. They actually will give you a good quote rather than having to interview them for an hour and a half to get 5 quotes.
Yes.
You can get it in 15 minutes.
Oh, yes.
We love those experts.
We do.
But I think that's really true with print editors. They want all that extra stuff. I know that when I do features,
they want free images too.
They want you to source free images, which is a pain in the ass. But it really depends on how good you are at doing that sort of stuff. We're going to delve into free images as well in a later episode and how to source that stuff. But that can be a sort of added value thing. And what were some of the other added value things that we talked about? Oh, hang on.
I do the stockers. I think that's really good with it's all verified and everything. That's easy.
Breakout boxes though.
Breakout boxes.
Because sometimes they'll say, can you do a breakout? And I will sometimes do 2 if I have extra information and then they can choose the one they want. And also a lot of people say, well, I only want 900 words. But then what if you have 1,300 and the rest is really great? I will do extra sections so that they can drop them in, but I don't ask for extra money, even though I want it.
Yeah. Yes, no, that's good, breakout boxes. And also it's important to know breakout boxes they love in print and they hate it in digital. Doesn't really work much in digital.
No, it doesn't work in digital.
So that's
a really good trick to get extra work, I find, is if you have a fantastic story and they only have allocated a spread for it, so it's 800 words, but you've got 1,500 or something. You can always say, would the digital editor be interested in a listicle with my overflow? You know, and sometimes you'll get paid again for that digital story. So that often happens to me, especially with interiors type mags and stuff, because they're so hungry for that digital content.
Sometimes too, it's an opportunity if the subject lends itself and you've got 1,500 words, it's a good opportunity to pitch back. So actually, this story about bathrooms, I got so much stuff all about the way to lay tiles.
Yeah.
I think we could do a whole story on laying tiles.
I do that
They often
too.
do that. Yeah, that often works as well.
Yeah.
Because you find something when you're doing your research.
Well, I think a rule of thumb, this is what I always do when pitching. When I'm filing a story, I'll try and pitch another couple of stories.
Yes.
When I'm filing. If you can get into the habit of doing that, it's a really good way to keep work rolling in
Yes,
print.
that's a great idea.
Yeah. But we're already up to 8 minutes. We need to talk about what do content managers, content editors, and digital agencies tend to want these days when you're filing copy.
Well, I now supply, and it's not that hard. It takes a little bit of work getting it the first few times. I supply them with not only a headline and a cell for it, but I also supplied them with a metadata head and meta summary, and they're a bit more sort of search engine sort of targeted, and a list of keywords. And I use a couple of programs for that, or once you get to know the subject matter, you tend to know what's ranking really well, and I make sure I optimize that. I mean, some people actually put their copy through for digital content through programs such as Yoast. I know you use Yoast, don't you?
I love Yoast.
But Yoast is really only good for WordPress. Yeah. But there's a few other programs that you can use too. So sometimes I do that and keywords, and I include sometimes, depending, I will include a sample Facebook post or an Instagram post, and just do that, and that's sort of a bit of an added bonus. And social tags and hyperlinks to any of the experts that I've quoted, particularly if they've got a social following.
I do the same. I again do a 4 subs thing if I'm filing content work, but I am finding that the same thing is wanted, like from digital agencies. You have to really be across all that metadata. I've often got to write 2 headlines. Yes. In case the client doesn't like the first one.
Oh, okay.
So you've got to write a backup headline, but then you've also got to write an excerpt and an intro and the body of the article. Then you've also got to write the metadata as well at the bottom, plus include all the links to everything that you've mentioned and links to all your experts. So it can actually be I think it can be quite grueling. Sometimes filing content if you're not used to doing all those extra bits and bobs, but actually
my trick is not to promise some of that and then you just do it.
Mine is included. You have to do it.
I don't.
But I find they do that because you're probably the best person to do it because you're writing it and you can just pull it out really quickly. But I think you'll often find as well that you'll be asked to upload it into a CMS. So
I've done that a couple of times. And if you've never done uploaded into a CMS, it seems really intimidating, but it's really easy. I find it quite easy. Once you've done one, they've all got their own little quirks, but once you've done one, it gets easy. So I've done that I did a big project for the Australian Veterinary Association. I rewrote most of the content on their website when they launched a new website, and they ended up, the first couple of bits they got checked, but the rest of it I uploaded and optimised into their CMS system. And then they went through a process of checking, all the medical information.
Lovely. Well, I think we've reached the end of our episode.
Yes, again. So much to talk about.
I know. You've been listening to the Content Bite.
It's been a Rachel. Yes, the Content Bite.
Okay, and don't forget, if you need to talk to us, send us feedback, ask us a question, you can reach us on thecontentbite@gmail.com. We will see you next week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.